Okay, so we have been learning how to graph an equation of a line, and we have learned how to translate equations from slope-intercept, or from when y wasn't alone, to slope-intercept form. The point of that is always to graph. Sometimes you are not able to graph right away. Sometimes they're going to tell you make an equation of a line, given a point and a slope. So what we have is this awesome formula that you can create an equation of a line, any equation of a line, if you're given a point and the slope by using point-slope form. Notice the way it's named, point-slope. That means you have a point, you have a slope. The equation is this, and you've seen terminology similar to this when we identify slope. How you say this is y minus y's of 1 equals m times x minus x of 1. The y is constant, the x is constant. Y's of 1 means the y you're given. M is the slope, and x of 1 is the x that you're given. First x, first y. Just like the formula for slope when we have y's of 2 minus y's of 1. So for example, we're going to write an equation of a line that has the given slope and goes through the given point. So what you don't have to memorize this formula. A lot of students just do because you use it so much now that I'm introducing it to you. But it will be on your formula sheet for the MCAs. So what I do, y minus the y I'm given, y's of 1, equals m, your slope, times x minus x of 1, which is the x you're given. So I just go ahead and plug in. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to plug in. So you clearly need to know what x and y are, and then you just plug in. Y minus the y you're given. What's the y I'm given? 4 equals your slope. What's your slope? 5 times x minus the x you're given. What x am I given?
1.
Yep. And that's all you do. Instinct tells you that you'd want to do more. I'm assuming that your instinct is like, let me distribute that 5, please. I feel like that 5 should be distributed. That's awesome. If you're thinking you should, that's thinking ahead. The first thing I need you to know how to do before you start distributing is how to plug in. That's the first thing. Okay, so that's an equation of a line, a very acceptable equation of a line. It's acceptable nationwide, countrywide, worldwide. It is accepted. Everywhere around the world uses this formula for linear equations. Next, y minus the y you're given. What's the y that I'm given? 3, thank you for being engaged, equals your slope, 4, times x minus the x I'm given. What's the x I'm given? Negative 2. And then you got to pretty that up a little bit. Because don't you see minus and negative? What does that turn to? Sure does. Y minus 3 equals 4 parentheses x plus 2. Leave it like that even though you want to distribute. That will come next. First part of point-slope form is knowing how to use and plug in with point-slope form. The next one, x is negative 2, y is 3, my slope is negative 4. I want to create an equation of a line given my point and my slope. I'm given a point and a slope, I use point-slope form. So y minus the y you're given, 3, equals your slope, negative 4, parenthesis, x minus the x you're given, negative 2. And then you make that look pretty. So y minus 3 equals negative 4, parenthesis, x plus 2. not too shabby, just plugging that stuff in. Okay, I don't know, maybe you like to identify your x and y's, but I'm given a point and a slope, so I use point slope form. Y minus the y you're given, negative 6, equals your slope, negative 1/2, parenthesis, x minus the x you're given. And then you make it look pretty. Y plus 6 equals negative 1/2 times x minus 3. That is learning objective number 1, that if I give you a point and a slope, you can plug it into point slope form. That's just evaluating. Back in 7th grade, you did that. 6th grade, you put the x's where the x's, the y where the y's. Clearly not the only part of the learning target. The next objective is, what if I give you 2 points? How do you create an equation of a line if I give you 2 points? Well, notice for point slope, you need to find your slope. So slope is y's of 2 minus y's of 1 over x of 2 minus x of 1. Y minus y over x minus x. That's the first thing you have to do. You have to find out what the slope is. And then we make it look like it looked on the first page. We pick a point. You can pick any one. It will be the same thing. So you pick one of the 2 points, and then you make it look like how it was in the front page. And then you use point slope. Y minus the y you're given is equal to your slope times x minus the x you're given. And let's go through these 2 examples. So first, I'm going to find my slope. xy, xy. So y, second y minus the first, 7 minus 5, over second x minus the first, 2 minus 4. That's a 2. Which is 2 over negative 2, which is negative 1 is my slope. And now you pick a point. I'm going to go ahead and pick my first point. You could pick your second point. Even though they will look different at first, everyone's, when you turn it back, when you isolate y and start distributing and stuff, they will turn into the same thing. I'm going to pick my first point, 4, 5, and I'm going to say my m equals negative 1. That was at step 2. And step 3 is plugging in. You might have to reference that front page of your notes, what the point slope formula is. Y minus the y you're given is equal to your slope, parenthesis, times x minus the x you're given. So when we correct the homework on this stuff, there's really going to be 2 right answers. Because some of you might have chose 2, 7, which is totally fine. Y minus 7 equals negative 1 times x minus 2. It's totally fine. They look completely different. Like, how in the world could they be the same thing? Well, I'll show you. Watch what this turns to. Notice when I got it into slope-intercept form, I get y equals negative x plus 9. Watch when I get this into slope-intercept form. Same thing. We're just doing some algebra. So it doesn't matter which point you pick, because the second part of it, we all will get to the same thing. Okay, let's practice the procedure again. I'm giving 2 points, and I want to create an equation of a line. The first thing I need to know is my slope. Slope is y minus y over x minus x. 7 minus a negative 3 over x minus x. Negative 4 minus 5, which is 10 over negative 9. And you pull the negative to the side. negative 10 over 9. Remember, because negative means the graph is falling down. It's a rise situation. And then you pick a point, I don't care which one. As you see on our previous example, they turn into the same thing. So it doesn't matter which point you pick. Y minus the y you're given, negative 3, equals your slope, parenthesis, x minus the x you're given. And then you make it look pretty. Y plus 3 equals negative 10 over 9, parenthesis, x minus 5. All right? My next learning target helps those of us that feel when they get things in point slope that they're leaving things unfinished. If when we got things in point slope and you thought, hey, I need to distribute this number, then that's exactly what our main goal is. So when we translate from point slope, like these two examples, they are in point slope form, meaning I have a slope and I can see I was given a point. I want to turn it to slope intercept. Slope intercept means y alone. That's what we've been practicing all this time for like a week and a half-ish. So what I'm going to do is distribute. And I get y minus 6 equals 2x plus 4. And now, what do I need to move? Tell me. The 6, because I need to get y alone, so the 6 is by the y. So I'm going to plus 6, and I'm going to plus 6 over to the other constant for like terms, and you get y equals 2x plus 10. And now I would be able to graph it way easier. Okay, the next one, translating from point slope. This is point slope because I have my slope right here, and I have my point, y and x. Well, the first thing I'm going to do, anytime you distribute a negative, I am going to plus a negative if I have to. And then I am going to distribute half. Don't overthink this. Half is half. So I get y plus 4 equals negative 1/2 x plus, what's negative half of negative 8? 4. Half of 8 is 4, and it would be positive. And then I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4 to get y alone. And you get y equals negative 1/2 x, and that's plus 0. This is direct variation. Remember, direct variation is anything that goes through the origin. So the y-intercept there would be 0. And that's my learning target for you today.